British Airways is the flag carrier airline of the United Kingdom and its largest airline based on fleet size, international flights and international destinations. When measured by passengers carried, it is second largest, behind easyJet. The airline is based in Waterside near its main hub at London Heathrow Airport. A British Airways Board was established by the United Kingdom government in 1972 to manage the two nationalised airline corporations, British Overseas Airways Corporation and British European Airways, and two smaller, regional airlines, Cambrian Airways, from Cardiff, and Northeast Airlines, from Newcastle upon Tyne. On March 31, 1974, all four companies were merged to form British Airways. After almost 13 years as a state company, British Airways was privatised in February 1987 as part of a wider privatisation plan by the Conservative government. The carrier soon expanded with the acquisition of British Caledonian in 1987, followed by Tyne Air in 1992 and British Midland International in 2012. British Airways is a founding member of the Oneworld Airline Alliance, along with American Airlines, Cathay Pacific, Qantas, and the now-defunct Canadian Airlines. The alliance has since grown to become the third largest, after SkyTeam and Star Alliance. British Airways merged with Iberia on January 21, 2011, formally creating the International Airlines Group, the world's third-largest airline group in terms of annual revenue and the second-largest in Europe. IAG is listed on the London Stock Exchange and in the FTSE 100 index. A long-time Boeing customer, British Airways ordered 59 Airbus A320 family aircraft in August 1998. In 2007, it purchased 12 Airbus A380s and 24 Boeing 787 Dreamliners, marking the start of its long-haul fleet replacement. The centerpiece of the airline's long-haul fleet is the Boeing 747-400. With 47 examples in the fleet, British Airways is the largest operator of this type in the world. History. In January 1972, a British Airways Board was established by the UK government following the passing of the Civil Aviation Act 1971, to manage British Overseas Airways Corporation and British European Airways. On September 1, 1972, the management service functions of both BOAC and BEA were combined under the newly formed British Airways Group. British Airways was established as an airline on March 31, 1974 by the dissolution of BOAC and BEA. Following 2 years of fierce competition with British Caledonian, the second-largest airline in Britain at the time, the government changed its aviation policy in 1976 so that the two carriers would no longer compete on long-haul routes. British Airways and Air France operated the supersonic airliner Aérospatiale BAC Concorde, and the world's first supersonic passenger service flew in January 1976 from London Heathrow to Bahrain. Services to the U.S. began on May 24, 1976 with a flight to Washington Dulles Airport, and flights to New York JFK Airport followed on September 22, 1977. Service to Singapore was established in cooperation with Singapore Airlines as a continuation of the flight to Bahrain. Following the Air France Concorde crash in Paris and a slump in air travel following the 11th September attacks in New York in 2001, it was decided to cease Concorde operations in 2003 after 27 years of service. The final commercial Concorde flight was BA002 from New York JFK to London Heathrow on October 24, 2003. In 1981 the airline was instructed to prepare for privatisation by the Conservative Thatcher government. Sir John King, later Lord King, was appointed chairman, charged with bringing the airline back into profitability. While many other large airlines struggled, King was credited with transforming British Airways into one of the most profitable air carriers in the world. The flag carrier was privatised and was floated on the London Stock Exchange in February 1987. British Airways effected the takeover of Britain's second airline, British Caledonian, in July of that same year. The formation of Richard Branson's Virgin Atlantic Airways in 1984 created a competitor for BA. the intense rivalry between British Airways and Virgin Atlantic culminated in the former being sued for libel in 1993, arising from claims and counter-claims over a dirty tricks campaign against Virgin. This campaign included allegations of poaching Virgin Atlantic customers, tampering with private files belonging to Virgin and undermining Virgin's reputation in the city. As a result of the case, BA management apologised unreservedly, and the company agreed to pay a £110,000 damages to Virgin, a £500,000 to Branson personally and a £3 million legal costs. Lord King stepped down as chairman in 1993 and was replaced by his deputy, Colin Marshall, while Bob Ayling took over as CEO. Virgin filed a separate action in the US that same year regarding BA's domination of the transatlantic routes, but it was thrown out in 1999. In 1992, British Airways expanded through the acquisition of the financially troubled Dan Air, giving BA a much larger presence at Gatwick Airport. British Asia Airways, a subsidiary based in Taiwan, was formed in March 1993 to operate between London and Taipei. That same month, BA purchased a 25% stake in the Australian airline Qantas and, with the acquisition of British Airways in May, formed British Airways SITA Express. In September 1998, British Airways, along with American Airlines, Cathay Pacific, Qantas, and Canadian Airlines, formed the Oneworld Airline Alliance. Oneworld began operations on February 1, 1999, and is the third largest airline alliance in the world, behind SkyTeam and Star Alliance. Bob Ayling's leadership led to a cost savings of £750 million and the establishment of a budget airline, Go, in 1998. The next year, however, British Airways reported an 84% drop in profits in its first quarter alone, its worst in 7 years. In March 2000, Ayling was removed from his position and British Airways announced Rod Eddington as his successor. That year, British Airways and KLM conducted talks on a potential merger, reaching a decision in July to file an official merger plan with the European Commission. The plan fell through in September 2000. British Asia Airways ceased operations in 2001 after BA suspended flights to Taipei. Go was sold to its management and the private equity firm 3i in June 2001. Eddington would make further workforce cuts due to reduced demand following September 11 attacks in 2001, and BA sold its stake in Qantas in September 2004. In 2005, Willie Walsh, managing director of Aer Lingus and a former pilot, became the chief executive officer of British Airways. BA unveiled its new subsidiary Open Skies in January 2008, taking advantage of the liberalisation of transatlantic traffic rights between Europe and the United States. Open Skies flies non-stop from Paris to New York's JFK and Newark airports. On July 2008, British Airways announced a merger plan with Iberia, another airline in the Oneworld Alliance, wherein each airline would retain its original brand. The agreement was confirmed in April 2010, and in July the European Commission and US Department of Transport permitted the merger and began to coordinate transatlantic routes with American Airlines. On October 6, 2010, the alliance between British Airways, American Airlines and Iberia formally began operations. The alliance generates an estimated £230 a million in annual cost saving for BA, in addition to the £330 a million which will be saved by the merge with Iberia. This merger was finalised on January 21, 2011, resulting in the International Airlines Group, the world's third largest airline in terms of annual revenue and the second largest airline group in Europe. Prior to merging, British Airways owned a 13.5% stake in Iberia, and thus received ownership of 55% of the combined International Airlines Group. Iberia's other shareholders received the remaining 45%. As a part of the merger, British Airways ceased trading independently on the London Stock Exchange after 23 years as a constituent of the FTSE 100 index. In September 2010, Willie Walsh, now CEO of IAG, announced that the group was considering acquiring other airlines and had drawn up a short list of 12 possible acquisitions. In November 2011, IAG announced an agreement in principle to purchase British Midland International from Lufthansa. A contract to purchase the airline was agreed the next month, and the sale was completed for £172.5 million on March 30, 2012. The airline established a new subsidiary based at London City Airport operating Airbus A318s. British Airways was the official airline partner of the London 2012 Olympic Games. On May 18, 2012 it flew the Olympic flame from Athens International Airport to RNAS Kildrose while carrying various dignitaries, including Lord Sebastian Coe, Princess Anne, the Olympics Minister Hugh Robertson and the London Mayor Boris Johnson, along with the footballer David Beckham. Corporate Affairs, Operations. British Airways is the largest airline based in the United Kingdom in terms of fleet size, international flights, and international destinations, and was, until 2008, the largest airline by passenger numbers as well. The airline carried 34.6 million passengers in 2008, but rival carrier easyJet transported 44.5 million passengers that year, passing British Airways for the first time. British Airways holds a United Kingdom Civil Aviation Authority Type A operating licence. It is permitted to carry passengers, cargo, and mail on aircraft with 20 or more seats. The airline's head office, Waterside, stands in Harmondsworth, a village near London Heathrow Airport. Waterside was completed in June 1998 to replace British Airways' previous head office, Speedbird House, which was located on the grounds of Heathrow. British Airways' main base is at London Heathrow Airport, but it also has a major presence at Gatwick Airport. It also has a base at London City Airport, where its subsidiary BA City Flyer is the largest operator. BA had previously operated a significant hub at Manchester Airport. Manchester operations ceased, along with all international services outside of London, when the subsidiary BA Connect was sold due to a lack of profitability. Passengers wishing to travel internationally with BA either to or from regional UK destinations must now transfer in London. Heathrow Airport is dominated by British Airways, which owns 40% of the slots available at the airport. The majority of BA's services operate from Terminal 5, with the exception of some short-haul and mid-haul flights at Terminal 1 arising from the purchase of BMI and some short-haul flights at Terminal 3, owing to a lack of capacity at Terminal 5. With the imminent opening of the brand new Terminal 2 in 2014, Star Alliance Airlines will progressively be moving all their services into the new terminal, and Terminal 1 will be closed for demolition in due course. British Airways services will then be concentrated in Terminals 3 and 5. Subsidiaries and shareholdings. BA City Flyer, a wholly owned subsidiary, offers flights from its base at London City Airport to 23 destinations throughout Europe. It flies 14 Embraer 170/190 aircraft and one leased Saab 2000. The airline focuses on serving the financial market, though it has recently expanded into the leisure market, offering routes to Ibiza, Palma and Venice. The onboard product is identical to that of the BA short-haul product from both LHR and LGW. The former BEA Helicopters was renamed British Airways Helicopters in 1974 and operated passenger and offshore oil support services until it was sold in 1986. Other former subsidiaries include the German airline Deutsche BA from 1997 until 2003 and the French airline Air Liberté copyright from 1997 to 2001. British Airways also owned Airways Aero Association, the operator of the British Airways Flying Club based at Wickham Air Park in High Wycombe, until it was sold to Surinder Aurora in 2007. South Africa's Khmer and Denmark's Sun Air of Scandinavia have been franchisees of British Airways since 1996. British Airways obtained a 15% stake in UK regional airline Flybe from the sale of BA Connect in March 2007. BA also owned a 10% stake in Intercapital and Regional Rail, the company that managed the operations of Eurostar Limited from 1998 to 2010, when the management of Eurostar was restructured. With the creation of an Open Skies agreement between Europe and the United States in March 2008, British Airways started a new subsidiary airline called Open Skies. The airline started operations in June 2008, and now flies direct from Paris to New York's JFK and Newark airports. British Airways Limited was established in 2012 to take over the operation of the premium service between London City Airport and New York JFK. BA began the service in September 2009, using two Airbus A318s fitted with 32 live flatbeds in an all-business class cabin. Flights operate under the numbers previously reserved for Concorde, BA001 Euro BA004. British Airways provides cargo services under the British Airways World Cargo brand. The division has been part of IAG Cargo since 2012, and is the world's 12th largest cargo airline based on total freight ton kilometers flown. BA World Cargo operates using the main BA fleet, together with three Boeing 747-8 freighter aircraft providing dedicated long-haul services operating under a wet lease arrangement from Global Supply Systems. The division operates an automated cargo centre at London Heathrow Airport and handles freight at Gatwick and Stansted airports. Industrial relations. Staff working for British Airways are represented by a number of trade unions. Pilots are represented by British Airline Pilots Association, cabin crew by British Airlines Stewards and Stewardesses Association, while other branches of Unite the Union and the GMB Union represent other employees. Bob Ayling's management faced strike action by cabin crew over a £1 billion cost-cutting drive to return BA to profitability in 1997. This was the last time BA cabin crew would strike until 2009, although staff morale has reportedly been unstable since that incident. In an effort to increase interaction between management, employees, and the unions, various conferences and workshops have taken place, often with thousands in attendance. In 2005, wildcat action was taken by union members over a decision by Gate Gourmet not to renew the contracts of 670 workers and replace them with agency staff. It is estimated that the strike cost British Airways £30 a million and caused disruption to 100,000 passengers. In October 2006, BA became involved in a civil rights dispute when a Christian employee was forbidden to wear a necklace bearing the cross, a religious symbol. BA's practice of forbidding such symbols has been publicly questioned by British politicians such as the former Home Secretary John Reid and the former Foreign Secretary Jack Straw. Relations have been turbulent between BA and Unite. In 2007, cabin crew threatened strike action over salary changes to be imposed by BA management. The strike was called off at the last minute, British Airways losing £80 a million. In December 2009, a ballot for strike action over Christmas received a high level of support. Action was blocked by a court injunction that deemed the ballot illegal. Negotiations failed to stop strike action in March. BA withdrew perks for strike participants. Allegations were made by The Guardian newspaper that BA had consulted outside firms' methods to undermine the unions. The story was later withdrawn. A strike was announced for May 2010. British Airways again sought an injunction. Members of the Socialist Workers' Party disrupted negotiations between BA management and Unite to prevent industrial action. Further disruption struck when Derek Simpson, a Unite co-leader, was discovered to have leaked details of confidential negotiations online via Twitter. Destinations. British Airways serves over 160 destinations, including 6 domestic. It is one of the few airlines to fly to all 6 permanently inhabited continents, along with Delta Airlines, Emirates, Etihad Airways, Korean Air, Qantas, Qatar Airways, Singapore Airlines, South African Airways and United Airlines. Partnerships and code-share agreements. British Airways has code-share agreements and/or partnerships with the following airlines: Fleet. With the exception of the Boeing 707 and early Boeing 747 variants from BOAC, British Airways inherited a mainly UK-built fleet of aircraft when it was formed in 1974. The airline introduced the Boeing 737 and Boeing 757 into the fleet in the 1980s, followed by the Boeing 747-400, Boeing 767 and Boeing 777 in the 1990s. BA is now the largest operator of Boeing 747-400s, with 55 in its fleet. Prior to the introduction of the 787, when Boeing built an aircraft for British Airways, it was allocated the customer code 36, which appeared in their aircraft designation as a suffix, such as 737 a €436. In 1991, British Airways placed its first order for 777-200 aircraft, ordering another 4 for fleet expansion in 2007 at a cost of around $800 a million. BA's first 777s were fitted with General Electric GE9 engines, but BA switched to Rolls-Royce Trent 800s for subsequent aircraft. Later in 2007, BA announced their order of 36 new long-haul aircraft, including 12 Airbus A380s and 24 Boeing 787 Dreamliners. Rolls-Royce Trent engines were again selected for both orders, with Trent 900s powering the A380s and Trent 1000s powering the 787s. The Boeing 787s will replace 14 of British Airways' Boeing 767 fleet, while the Airbus A380s will replace 20 of BA's Boeing 747-400s and will most likely be used to increase capacity on key routes from London Heathrow. On August 1, 2008, BA announced orders for 6 Boeing 777-300ERs and options for 4 more as an interim measure to cover for delays over the deliveries of their 787-89s. Of the 6 that have been ordered, 4 will be leased and 2 will be fully acquired by British Airways. On April 22, 2013, IAG confirmed that it had signed a Memorandum of Understanding to order 18 A350-1000 aircraft for British Airways, with an option for a further 18. The aircraft would replace some of the airline's fleet of Boeing 747-400s. Options for 18 Boeing 787 aircraft, part of the original contract signed in 2007, have been converted into firm orders for delivery between 2017 and 2021. On June 26, 2013, British Airways took delivery of its first 787s. The aircraft began operations to Toronto on September 1, 2013, and began service to Newark on October 1, 2013. BA's first A380 was delivered on July 4, 2013. It began regular services to Los Angeles on September 24, 2013, followed by Hong Kong on October 22, 2013. The combined International Airlines Group entity operates around 400 aircraft, carries over 62 million passengers annually, and serves more than 200 destinations. As of July 2014, the British Airways fleet is made up of the following registered aircraft: British Airways World Cargo Fleet, IAG's cargo division. IAG Cargo handles cargo operations using capacity on British Airways passenger aircraft. Global Supply Systems operated 3 Boeing 747-8F aircraft under a wet lease arrangement for British Airways World Cargo until BA terminated the contract early on January 17, 2014. An agreement with Qatar Airways to operate flights for IAG Cargo using Boeing 777F was announced on the same day. Other aircraft types used between 1974 and 1983 were Vickers 953C, Boeing 707-300C and Boeing 747-200F, while the Boeing 747-400F was operated from the 1990s to 2001 through Atlas Air and 2002 to early 2012 by Global Supply Systems. Of these, only one of Atlas Air's aircraft wore BA livery, the others flew in Atlas and Global Supply's own colors. Former fleet. British Airways Engineering. The company has its own engineering branch to maintain its aircraft fleet. This includes line maintenance at over 70 airports around the world. As well as hangar facilities at Heathrow and Gatwick Airport, it has 2 major maintenance centres at Glasgow and Cardiff airports and a facility at Prestwick Airport that up till 2014 was treating wing skin corrosion on A318, A319, A320 and A321 aircraft. Since January 2012, most heavy maintenance on the Boeing 737-400 Gatwick-based fleet has been done at the Lufthansa Technique Maintenance Facility in Sofia, Bulgaria. Marketing, branding. The musical theme predominantly used on British Airways advertising is the Flower Duet by La Copyright O'Delibes. This, and the slogan "The World's Favourite Airline" were introduced in 1989 with the launch of the iconic Face advertisement. The slogan was dropped in 2001 after Lufthansa overtook BA in terms of passenger numbers. Flower Duet is still used by the airline, and has been through several different arrangements since 1989. The most recent version of this melody was shown in 2007 with the new slogan, "Upgrade to British Airways." Other advertising slogans have included "The World's Best Airline," "We'll Take More Care of You," and "Fly the Flag." BA had an account for 23 years with Saatchi & Saatchi, an agency that created many of their most famous advertisements, including the influential Face campaign. Saatchi & Saatchi later imitated this advert for Silverjet, a rival of BA, after BA discontinued their business activities. Since 2007, BA has used Bartel-Bogle-Haggerty as its advertising agency. British Airways purchased the internet domain ba.com in 2002 from previous owner Bell Atlantic, BA being the company's acronym and its IATA airline code. In 2011, BA launched its biggest advertising campaign in a decade, including a 90-second cinematic advert celebrating the airline's 90-year heritage and a new slogan to fly. To serve. British Airways is the official airline of the Wimbledon Championship tennis tournament, and was the official airline and Tier 1 partner of the 2012 Summer Olympics and Paralympics. British Airways was also the official airline of England's bid to host the 2018 Football World Cup. High Life, founded in 1973, is the official in-flight magazine of the airlines. Liveries and tail fins. Since its formation in 1974, British Airways aeroplanes carried a Union Jack scheme painted on their tail fins. The original tail scheme was changed in 1984 as part of a new livery designed by Lander Associates. In 1997, there was a controversial change from the use of the former British Airways branding to a new livery which was intended mainly to reflect the diversity of places served by the airline, so-called world images. This involved a range of different designs appearing on tailfins and elsewhere, although the bodies of all the planes would use the corporate colours consistently. The exception was the Concorde fleet, which would have a new tailfin design based on a stylised, fluttering Union flag. What became known as the ethnic images included Delftware or Chinese calligraphy, related to countries on the company's network of routes. This was reported to have caused problems with air traffic control. Previously, controllers had been able to tell pilots to follow a BA plane, but they were now harder to visually identify. Several people spoke out against the change, including the former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. BA's traditional rival, Virgin Atlantic, took advantage of the negative press coverage by applying the Union flag to the winglets of their aircraft along with the slogan "Britain's national flag rear." In 1999, the CEO of British Airways, Bob Ayling, announced that all BA planes would adopt the tailfin design originally intended to be used only on the Concorde, based on the Union flag. Loyalty programs. British Airways' tiered loyalty program, called the Executive Club, includes access to special lounges and dedicated fast queues. BA also invites its top corporate accounts to join a Premier incentive program. British Airways operates airside lounges for passengers travelling in premium cabins, and these are available to certain tiers of Executive Club members. First-class passengers, as well as Gold Executive Club members, are entitled to use first-class lounges. Business-class passengers as well as Silver Executive Club members may use business lounges. At airports in which BA does not operate a departure lounge, a third-party lounge is often provided for premium or status passengers. In 2011, due to the merger with Iberia, British Airways announced changes to the Executive Club to maximise integration between the airlines. Cabins. Short-haul, UK domestic is British Airways economy class on domestic UK flights. Flights into Heathrow are mostly operated by Airbus A320 series aircraft. A small number of peak services to Glasgow and Edinburgh are operated by Boeing 767-300ERs configured in an all-economy layout. All flights into Gatwick are operated by Boeing 737-400, Airbus A319 or A320 aircraft in a one-class configuration. The 737 fleet is to be retired with the last aircraft due to leave the fleet by summer 2015. Business UK operates the same cabin as UK Domestic, while providing pre-flight lounge access. Eurotraveller is British Airways economy class offering on flights from the UK to the rest of Europe. Club Europe is the short-haul business class on all short-haul flights, excluding those within the UK. This class allows for access to business lounges at most airports. Club Europe provides seats in a Euro 2 configuration on narrowbody aircraft, with the middle seat not used. In-flight entertainment is offered on 767-300ER and some A320 aircraft. Mid-haul: in 2012, British Airways launched a new mid-haul product for A321s on routes formerly operated by BMI. These aircraft have been designated to serve routes such as Almaty, Tbilisi, Baku, Amman, Beirut and Tel Aviv. The Club World Business Class on these narrowbody aircraft is different to the product operated on the rest of BA's long-haul fleet. A Euro 2 configuration of 23 seats is used to allow for enough legroom and space for flatbed seats. All seats are fitted with the Thales i5000 in-flight entertainment system. Long-haul: first is the long-haul first-class service on British Airways, offered on all Airbus A380s, all Boeing 747-400s, some Boeing 777-200s, and all Boeing 777-300ERs. There are 14 private demi-cabins per aircraft, each with a 6er FT6er in bed, a 15-inch wide entertainment screen, and in-seat power. Club World is the long-haul business class on Boeing 767, Boeing 777, Boeing 787, Boeing 747-400, and Airbus A318 and A380 aircraft. The cabin features fully flat beds. In 2006, British Airways launched next-generation New Club World, featuring larger seats. The Club World cabins are all configured in a similar design on wide-body aircraft with aisle seats facing forwards while middle seats and window seats face backwards. World Traveller is the name for long-haul economy class offered on international flights to destinations outside Europe. It offers seat-back entertainment and several complimentary drinks and meals. AVOD is offered on all A380s, 747s, long-haul 767s and all of the 777s and 787s. On the Airbus A380, AC power outlets are offered in every seat. The outlets accept both UK and US plugs. The Boeing 787 offers AC power outlets in every class. The outlets in World Traveller are located in between each seat. There are 6 outlets in each row of 9 seats. World Traveller Plus is the premium economy offering provided on all long-haul aircraft except the Airbus A318, offering fewer seats per row, more seat comforts and power sockets. Incidents and accidents: in November 1974, British Airways Flight 870 was hijacked shortly after takeoff from Dubai for London Heathrow. The Vickers VC-10 landed at Tripoli for refuelling before flying on to Tunis. The captain, Jim Futcher, returned to the aircraft to fly it knowing the hijackers were on board. The hijackers eventually surrendered after 84 hours, but not before a hostage was murdered. Futcher was awarded the Queen's Gallantry Medal, the Guild of Air Pilots and Air Navigators Founders Medal, the British Airline Pilots Association Gold Medal and a Certificate of Commendation from British Airways for his actions during the hijacking. On September 10, 1976, a Trident 3B on British Airways Flight 476 departed from London Heathrow to Istanbul. It collided in mid-air with an ENX Adria DC-9-31 near Zagreb. All 54 passengers and 9 crew members on the BA aircraft died. This is the only fatal accident to a British Airways aircraft since the company's formation in 1974. On June 24, 1982, British Airways Flight 9, a Boeing 747-200 registration GBDXH, flew through a cloud of volcanic ash and dust from the eruption of Mount Galunggung. The ash and dust caused extensive damage to the aircraft, including the failure of all 4 engines. The crew managed to glide the plane out of the dust cloud and restart all 4 of its engines, although one later had to be shut down again. The volcanic ash caused the cockpit window to be scratched to such an extent that it was not possible for the pilots to see out of the plane. However, the aircraft made a successful emergency landing at Halim International Airport just outside Jakarta. There were no fatalities or injuries. On June 10, 1990, British Airways Flight 5390, a BAC 111 flight between Birmingham and Malaga, suffered a windscreen blowout due to the fitting of incorrect bolts the previous day. The captain, Tim Lancaster, suffered major injuries after being partially blown out of the aircraft, but the co-pilot landed the plane safely at Southampton Airport. Despite the physical trauma he suffered, Lancaster fully recovered, and 5 months later he returned to duty. On August 2, 1990, British Airways Flight 149 landed at Kuwait International Airport 4 hours after the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait. The aircraft, a Boeing 747-100, registration GAWND, was destroyed, and all passengers and crew were captured. 2 of the landing gears were salvaged, and are on display in Waterside, BA headquarters in London. On December 29, 2000, British Airways Flight 2069 was en route from London to Nairobi when a mentally ill passenger entered the cockpit and grabbed the controls. As the pilot struggled to remove the intruder, the Boeing 747-400 stalled twice and banked to 94 degrees. Several people on board were injured by the violent maneuvers which briefly caused the aircraft to descend at 30,000 feet per minute. The man was finally restrained with the help of several passengers and the co-pilot regained control. The flight landed safely in Nairobi. On January 17, 2008, British Airways Flight 38, a Boeing 777-200 GYMMM, departed from Beijing to London. It crash-landed approximately 1,000 feet short of London Heathrow Airport's runway 27L and slid onto the runway's displaced threshold. The damage to the landing gear, the wing roots and the engines, resulted in the first hull loss of a Boeing 777. There were no fatalities, but there was 1 serious injury and 12 minor injuries. On December 22, 2013, British Airways Flight 34, a Boeing 747-436 GBNLL, hit a building at OR Tambo International Airport in Johannesburg after missing a turning on a taxiway. The starboard wing was severely damaged but there were no injuries amongst the crew or 189 passengers, however 4 members of ground staff were injured when the wing smashed into the building. The aircraft was officially withdrawn from service in February 2014. See also, Air transport in the United Kingdom, list of airports in the United Kingdom and the British Crown dependencies, transport in the United Kingdom, references. Bibliography. External links, official website, destinations, British Airways Heritage Collection, British Airways Flight Training.